Now it's time to find out once and for all who is the best Godzilla.
Is that something we actually have to discuss? Because I'm pretty sure everybody agrees that I'm the best one. So I don't think it really matters. It matters to me. I just wanted to have my own movie. Be a part of something bigger. Something grand. It's not my fault they called it Godzilla. I want it to be called something like Iguanodon. I'm pretty sure that's a dinosaur. Quiet, you! I won't deal with any of your back talk. Let's do this. Well, since you insist. What are you doing? I'm ending this. Hey Rangers, welcome to Super Important Views. My name's Steve, and today we're going over the Bandai DX Attack Sound Godzilla 2005. This is another fan-requested review from Godzilla 2877. Glad to help you out. And the main reason I have this figure in my collection is because I got this as a Christmas present a long time ago, which is actually the first larger scale Japanese figure that I've ever owned, because with a lot of mine at the time being more of the smaller Bandai vinyl figures, this is my first forte into a more upscaled Godzilla figure, with this guy making me want to pick up X Pluses after I got him, and now I have a few in my collection. But as you guys can guess, this Godzilla has attack sounds and light up features, which I thought was something that was always cool with this guy, which we will get into this review. And let's just get into this. So without further ado, for the packaging, it's actually a lot going on the front of this package, where it has this more cybernetic look with a lot of little circuitry in the back, like electricity, light flares. You can see somebody playing with the Godzilla over in the corner doing a stomping effect. I have Godzilla 2005 at the bottom, which came out in 2004, but this figure came out around then, so But I do really love how eye-catching this Godzilla packaging is. For the top of the packaging, you just get Godzilla doing a more roaring pose with a lot more solar flares. Holy crap. And then pretty much for the rest of the packaging, you just get Godzilla in some dynamic poses, and it kind of shows you how some of his gimmick features work. But it's kind of hard to understand the Japanese, but you kind of get the gist with the directions that it's trying to get you to put the Godzilla into. Same with on the back of the packaging. Again, more of the same. Same with the side. Shows you how you do his atomic breath, which we'll go over for this video. And some legal mumbo jumbo on the bottom. And I'm still super surprised that I still have this packaging for this guy, because it's kind of just folded up in the back of the closet. But let's get into the figure. So if you guys were to purchase this DX Godzilla, when you would get him out of the packaging, there is some assembly required, where you're going to have to attach the hands and the tail, which the hands are actually stupid easy, because all you do is standing up Godzilla real quick, is right here, you'll see the nubs for his arms right here. Literally just find the corresponding hand, and you just insert it onto it, because there's a little rectangle right here, little rectangle nub there. Just insert it onto it. Pretty easy to do. Also comes off very easily after you guys attach these things, because in case you wanted to go restore it, you can actually disassemble this pretty easy in terms of the arms. Now for the tail, a little bit of a different story. Because there's these little grips right here on this little plastic piece. What you're going to have to do is you might have to use a hair dryer to soften this part up a little bit in order to get it over top of this. Which is something after, because I have this guy fully assembled on my shelf, just I tore it apart to show you guys. If you guys are tearing it apart, definitely make sure to use a hair dryer in this section to soften this up. Because you might have to worry about this actually breaking, because I noticed on mine when I was trying to pop it off, I tried to pop it off just initially by force, and this little part on the side here actually dislocated a bit, so I had to grab a hairdryer to get the thing back off, and definitely recommend you guys do the same. But popping it back on should be not so hard, because all you do, is how I get it on anyways, is I take one of the little lips here with the section on the tail for the plastic, get it underneath the lip on the plastic there, so you're only fighting with the one edge here. Then you kind of just apply a little bit of force, and the tail pops right on. So now that way the Final Wars Goji fully assembled, he is slightly under 12 inches. This actually makes him still a fairly large Japanese figure in more scale with the X Plus series. I think him being slightly bigger than a 25 centimeter, but slightly smaller than a 30. But he still looks pretty good on the shelf next to him, which I'll show you guys in the comparisons. But something I always thought was really cool, especially compared to the X Pluses, is that this guy is actually made out of soft rubber, which a lot of the figures that come from Japan anyways are made out of a more harder vinyl, which is something I always thought was really neat looking, very contrary to what we get a lot stateside. But this guy actually really reminds me of the actual suit, which is something that's really cool. Like, he actually makes me feel like I actually have a part of the suit in my collection, because you can see here, he definitely is a very, very squishy Godzilla, with the only harder parts being the arms right here, the dorsal spines, the lower jaw and the tail section right here, with the rest of this being softer rubber, which is again something I always thought was really cool and very unique for this figure. I'm gonna go over this guy's details real quick. Head sculpt is freaking awesome. Very reminiscent of the Bandai vinyl here, except for the teeth are a little better sculpted because larger figure you could kind of get a little bit more details in there. But still looks really nice. Really love his orange eyes here, very piercing looking. Also have his Godzilla ears, the dorsal spines right here, which look freaking fantastic, and move along the back of his neck, going into his shoulder blades. It looks awesome. His teeth are this nice bone color, which is a little bit different than what we got with the Bandai vinyl, because as you guys remember, like even with the nails here, nice bone color instead of that weird greenish yellow color. Also like his tongue here, which is actually made out of translucent plastic for his little breath gimmick, which I'll go over in just a few. Also, you'll see right here, he actually has holes in his neck for his actual voice box, because he does actually roar. And something, again, thought was really cool about this guy, because the main reason like you buy X pluses and whatnot is because they're very reminiscent of the suit from the film, or they could also be stylized, but usually a lot of like the ones I have are very reminiscent of what you would have saw in the actual film. And again, really love this guy because, again, made out of this softer rubber, so he gives you that nice authentic suit feel. And also has like these little holes right here and stuff, which like the actor could have been looking at, which is something I thought was really cool, even though it's meant for the voice box, but it's just kind of reminiscent of that, and I always thought that was pretty neat. Also, you still have a lot of very nice details in this rubber here too, because again, it kind of gives that illusion like this is actually made out of vinyl, but again, just normal rubber. And they still got a crap ton of very nice details out of this. Like you even got like the nice chest region right here, a lot of the bumps and grooves that are very different than a lot of his normal scaling on his arms right here. Hands are sculpted very nicely, where again you get like the nice hand impressions underneath, make him look a little bit more lifelike. His lower section still looks very good. Very muscular legs, which something I always thought was really cool about this Godzilla too is he's actually a fairly lean looking Godzilla, especially when you compare him to like the Heisei ones, which look like super bulky bodybuilder Godzilla. And this guy's more of a lean Bruce Lee kind of body type with his dinosaur feet, which look really great on this guy. Again, has the more bone coloring for his toenails, looks great. Overall, this Godzilla is a very nice black and charcoal color scheme, which looks really awesome, and again, very reminiscent of the film. And with his dorsal spine, it's fairly reminiscent of the Bandai vinyl we went over not too long ago, with it being more of a yellowish white scheme here for the dorsal spines here. Looks really nice. You also get some translucent plastic here for a few of the dorsal spines, which is for his light up gimmick, which I'll go over in just a few. Which also comes down towards the tail here, but you lose a little bit of the coloring once you get down towards more of the base of the tail, which is a little bit of a bummer on this guy, but still looks really good nonetheless. And it comes all the way down to the tip of his tail. This guy's little tail is not quite as long as the Bandai vinyl figure that I have in my collection, but still looks really nice. Has a lot of very nice details. Also has a little bit of a shine to it, so if you guys are noticing on the plastic right here, which is kind of neat. Also have his wavy pattern here on the bottom section of his tail. Looks really nice. And then just go over this guy's articulation real quick for his hands. Can move in and out. That's about it, which is also a part of his gimmick. For his jaw articulation, it can be closed and it will stay shut about that far, and it can be popped right back open and have him in a more howling position. The legs actually have a little bit of a bend to them, but they just come right back, so there's not really any articulation there. And then you get a little bit of articulation towards the middle section of his tail. So, this Godzilla is not very posable, sadly, but that's not the real reason why you're going to be buying this guy. The main reason you're buying this guy is for all of his awesome gimmicks and awesome detail. Which, to turn on his gimmicks, right here you'll see this dorsal spine is slightly different than the rest of these, because it actually has some writing on it. So what you're going to do when you want to activate the Godzilla is you're going to push this forward. And you know he's on when he's roaring. And then since we're still zoomed in for his first feature, you can get him to actually do the roar by pushing down on the... Which, also, if you leave him on, he actually does a growl periodically. So you'll probably hear him growling while I'm trying to talk over him in this video. But if you want to activate his roar, right here for the top dorsal spine, you just push it down. And you get his awesome roar. For his next sound effect, if you move his arms inward, it sounds like he's knocking over buildings. It does the same thing with this arm, which is something that is really sweet. Really love that he's just like crashing into buildings. Just popped it off. And then for his next gimmick, if you take your Godzilla and slam him on the table, it makes a Godzilla stomping sound. Which, I don't know a certain consistency, because you'll hear that there's two different sounds, one being slightly larger than the other. But it seems like it's just kind of random the way that works. Because you can kind of get it to do it sometimes. Like I just did it with the one leg there. But then again, if I do it again, it does the normal sound effect. So that seems a little bit more random in how that works. And then next, for his last sound effect feature, we got to turn off the lights a bit. Alright, so now that we have a majority of the lights off, what you're going to want to do, there's him roaring again, is you're going to want to take the hands and move them both in on each other. Then rotate them a bit. So once you get them moved in, you'll see that the Godzilla spines illuminate upwards his back, and then I start doing this flashing bit. Which what happens when the flashing bit's going on, it's actually fully charged so that you can unleash it out of his mouth. Which what you want to do, again, stop roaring, is you're going to want to push down on the top dorsal spine here, which you would do for his normal roar, but when it's fully charged, it does something different this time. Which is freaking amazing. So for some quick comparison, here we have the DX Godzilla 2004 compared next to the 30cm X Pluses I own with the Godzilla 1955 and Godzilla 1962. And here's the X Plus 25cm Burning Godzilla and the Bandai Creations Godzilla Final Wars Godzilla. And here's some other Final Wars Gojis from Bandai. And here's some NECA Godzillas with the 1994 and 54, which I kind of wish NECA would make a 2004. So overall, the DX Godzilla 2004, I still love this thing to this day. Because even with his minimal articulation, I kind of just treat him like an X Plus of a little bit of more up features with his light up gimmick and sounds, which I still think are awesome. And he's definitely one of the more show-offable pieces in my collection, especially when people come over to check out some of my figures. He's definitely one of the ones I show to them. But if you guys are in the market for a large-scale Godzilla figure, but don't want something that's just going to be sitting on your shelf doing absolutely nothing, then the DX Godzilla might just be up your alley. But what do you guys think? Do you guys want any of the DX Godzilla figures? What's your favorite large Godzilla action figure, or is articulation just more your thing? Please let us know in the comments. A little closer pictures guy on Facebook. You want to click the link in the description below. Help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button. Subscribe to become a Ranger today, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.